Yeah. Woo. Heyo, 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 heyo.
Yeah. Live.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. I just want to see if Ari would fall asleep after I said that. From BlackRock's ESG Indifference Conference Center. Oh, that sounds boring. It's an all-new, terrific Tuesday edition of Business Pants, joined by Ari, the Data Queen, and analyst hole Matt Moscardi.
Yes, that's correct. You know, I was making fun of you guys for your the poor audio management
technique
on Friday.
No, make fun of me.
But
Ari
it
had
turns
nothing
out
to do
it
with
actually
that.
seems like it's Riverside, because Riverside did not.
Riverside's tough.
It's
Riverside's
really,
tough.
you know, for people who have been podcasting for like 7 years, you'd think we'd figured out audio by now.
I mean, Riverside's just not a friend.
Can we say before we start that Ari may or may not fall asleep during the show?
I'm not yawning.
Blame her
You're
teething
yawning.
child.
And it's really, she came in and I have never seen a human yawn that much. Like
I just heard a human yawn.
that was
My bad.
that's it. But there's one way to wake her up.
Oh,
In today's
Please.
proxy-scented lead director called April 16th, 2024, the end of the world's most insipid ESG bracket game, the March Madness Good Game.
Yeah.
We're finally
The
going to end it, Ari. We're finally going to end it.
championship.
We're in the Elite Eight.
Oh.
And also later, kind of a sneak peek preview of our all-new Top 5 List Throwdown show.
Ooh, a
Woohoo,
throwdown
throwdown.
show. Let's
I like
throw
that.
down, yeah.
It's like hoedown, throwdown.
Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlow Analytics, the only ESG data platform to measure real board influence and diversity power gaps.
Someone needs to rewrite that copy, because it's
Go ahead. It sits there for every show. Go ahead. I'm just highlighting a few things. What else do you want to highlight?
I want to highlight the fact that FreeFlow Analytics is a free web-based platform where you can get data and performance
type while
data
you talk. I
on
see your hands
every
moving. Type
director
this.
on Earth.
Ever. No, that's not true.
He needs his
No, it's only
hands
like
to
90,000.
It's
Ari, how many directors is it, Ari?
180,000, 200,000.
Yeah, so it's
well,
not
that's
every
the
director.
history.
That's a history. Oh, you mean current?
Yeah. Oh my God, we gotta wake her up.
Almost 90.
All right, come on.
Are you ready?
Let's play the music. Give me some March Madness music.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
It's really hard not to like your life with that music going.
I really can't believe how long I let this game linger. I apologize to everybody. Let's quickly wrap this up. This is the final Elite Eight of the best headlines across the last year. Let's go quickly. This is the East bracket. Women's March Madness ad revenue.
If you're just joining us, Damien's going to read headlines over the past that popped up during the past year, and we rate them, and whichever one is better, gooder, wins.
This is the March Madness final. Elite Eight East bracket. Two competing headlines. Women's March Madness ad revenue doubled. Women's NCAA championship TV ratings crushed the men's. That's the first one. Second one, union employees are about $100,000 richer than non-union workers.
Damn. I voted against the union workers last time.
I know, but now in contrast, this is a clear upset because this is definitely union employees are 100,000
Correct.
richer.
Do you
than
agree, Ari?
Yes,
I agree.
100%. I mean, like that's good in perpetuity.
Let's go to the West bracket, where the first headline is 2,000 senior women win biggest victory possible in landmark climate case. A group of older Swiss women have won the first ever climate case victory in the European Court of Human Rights. Versus Total Energies sued over its responsibility for climate change in Belgium's first ever climate action against a multinational company. So two big
This is a
climate
no-brainer.
cases in Europe. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Ari.
Win over the Sioux. So
Yeah, it's a win over
They
the
won.
suit.
Okay.
Do we have to?
I like how
though,
fast this is moving.
How much do we have to hammer that it's older Swiss women? Like, does
I love that. Come on.
It's
We don't
fine.
respect the elderly. We don't respect the older generations of wisdom. We're focused on youth too much. Come on.
I
You
get
don't
it.
love this?
I'm fine. It's fine. But
Fine.
like,
Who cares?
they said 2,000 senior women win biggest possible victory, and then in the subheader, a group of older Swiss women.
Okay, that's my bad. That's
how
my
many
bad.
times
I
do you have to
actually-
say it.
That's my bad. I mashed together two headlines to prove a point, and I overdid it.
It's like
Get it.
Okay?
Get it.
senior.
I'm like the Jeffrey Sonnenfeld of bad
Ooh.
production because I repeated myself
Ooh, that makes my head
unpoetically.
explode.
Okay. In the North bracket, 2 headlines. First one, millionaire banking boss, Standard Chartered CEO Bill Winters says ESG investing is good for business. If that makes me woke, shoot me.
Yeah.
First headline.
Every time.
Second headline, lawsuit from Elon Musk's ex against anti-hate speech group dismissed. Judge rules lawsuit was an attempt to punish free speech.
Ooh, uh-oh.
I'm going to go with, if that makes me woke, shoot me.
Everyone loves that one.
I just like that. That's
what do we do in the event of a tie here? I
have to break the tie.
I'm going to go...
Oops, sorry. Hard up.
Sorry, Miles.
Miles is currently asleep so that he can wake up all night tonight. I'm going to go with the lawsuit from Elon Musk's ex is dismissed, mostly because it's now currently on the record in a court of law that Elon Musk was trying to punish free speech on the platform where he threw a big diaper baby fit.
He's a free speech man.
The big diaper baby threw a big diaper baby fit while he was talking to Don Lemon about how Don Lemon was trying to censor the universe and like he's not for free speech and moderation is censorship. Meanwhile, okay, so break the tie.
We should send him a diaper. I got some extras.
We should send Don Lemon a diaper.
Yeah,
Elon Musk.
I'll break the tie by going with the official outing of Elon Musk attempting to punish free speech.
Damn.
Only because I mean it is cute that Bill Winters said, if that makes me woke, shoot me. But I don't know. I mean,
you don't like the gun?
That we're just defending the concept is irritating. That we're still like fighting off these whack jobs who think that ESG is the devil.
Sure.
And that includes Elon Musk. Anyway, I had to pick something, Ari. I don't know. The South bracket. Nissan to launch only all-electric car models in Europe starting now, and L'Oreal rolls out product impact labels in
starting
Canada.
now.
Yes, 100%. Starting.
Well, they're both
now.
doing it, but they're both doing it. L'Oreal. These product labels are out.
Okay, but
saying.
First of all,
rolls our products starting now.
Impact labels just tell you the shit that's in the thing. Where they were like, we're not selling this anymore, the shitty thing anymore.
Okay, that's true.
Starting
that's true.
like now, like I'm going to finish the sentence and you can't buy it anymore.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Like, poof, gone.
Yeah, Nissan wins.
All right, I guess I can't argue. All right, I had an argument for L'Oreal, but you guys, the winner is in. So let's go to our final four.
I can't believe you guys took the shoot me one. I feel like I was going to go with that all the
way.
All the way?
Really? I do feel it's not too late for me to change the I could go back and look at the tape. Okay, let's move on. Give me a little music. Quick music. Let's do final four. Come on, final four. Good game backers.
Do quick music.
Okay.
Things. Hold on. Here we go. There you go.
We're really belaboring this one.
How many? This is like the worst
For those of you who are
ever.
For those of you who are tuning in because some smart person has recommended us because we have insightful commentary.
It's true. We do have.
I apologize. All our shows are not like this. We'll get to some more insight. We're going to be looking at our platform actually in the next part of the show, looking at some of our data, so you can stay tuned for that. This is foreshadowing. This is the silly part. In the first Final Four matchup, union employees about $100,000 richer than non-union workers going up against senior women in the Swiss courts have won the first ever climate case victory in the European Court of Human Rights.
Okay.
That's a big one.
I need a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Take a second.
I'm going to go fast.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going with the older women.
Damn.
I mean, look, the lawsuit that they won actually included like it basically said that the Swiss regulators should have been regulating to stop climate change. Do you know what the biggest industry in Switzerland is?
Banking.
Banking.
Yeah.
It is banking, which means
huge
banks are supposed to, effectively they're saying banks have been financing the shit that is killing us.
Yep.
And that means if it could prompt massive shift in regulation in Switzerland, and Switzerland is like a hub. That's all they do. They bank. That's what they do. They're good at.
Are you convinced? Are you convinced, Ari?
I'm going to go with union workers.
Oh,
come on.
That means you got to break the tie.
I
Can
know.
you at least give me your case? Give me a quick case if you're not too tired.
Okay. I do love what the older women are doing.
I have to think about this one.
The union workers, I think more workers need to unionize. Workers are dying, not just from climate change, but because they don't get paid enough and they need to fight for their rights. So
this is tough because if you didn't realize at this point yet that being in a union is better than being not in a union, you're an idiot.
And this
I'm
is
sorry.
the Fed saying that.
Yeah.
Like
it was the Fed. Yeah.
I'm gonna go in the year of Caitlin Clark, in the year of women's ratings trouncing men's ratings, and even my dopey friends talking about women's sports. I gotta go with the women. The women here win.
It's a good one. You can't be upset.
Can't be upset. And the next matchup, lawsuit from Elon Musk's ex against anti-hate speech group dismissed. Judge rules lawsuit was an attempt to punish free speech versus Nissan to launch only all electric car models in Europe starting now.
I'm going with Nissan.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yep, because I know you're going to go
Another
with Elon.
Yeah,
Starting now.
I'm going with Elon. It's definitely Elon.
Another tie. Come on.
Another tie. It's
Well,
just
I know
going
what you're
over
going to
time.
go.
Why are you going with Elon, Matt? I'm curious.
Because, like, I can't get over the fact
Why is
that
it important?
Diaper man baby.
just like the Delaware judge, Chancellor, what's her name? McCarthy? No.
Yeah, we should know this
She
name.
actually has been like targeted by anti-woke groups now who are trying to oust her. Just like her, putting into the record the fact that Tesla's board was one of the worst constructed boards in the history of boards.
Kathleen McCormick.
This is another judge ruling that Elon Musk, who walks around in the cloak of free speech is my thing,
Free speech absolutist.
wrote it down in the permanent record. No, it's not. And then, like, that's fantastic. I love that.
All right, Damien. Who's it going to be?
I mean,
I really don't. I don't want two headlines from Europe, so Elon Musk wins.
See, there it goes.
That category. And finally, let's get to our final matchup. This is the good gameliest headline of the year. I never would have expected this matchup. 2,000 senior women win biggest victory possible.
Yeah.
Landmark climate case versus a judge told Elon Musk that he's attempting to punish free speech and dismissed a lawsuit.
Okay, the fact that the European court said that the government not regulating, like inaction, is why they're at fault. That's the biggest.
Yeah,
in my book.
I mean, like, while it's funny that a judge basically told a diaper baby to shut his fat yap, winning the inaction lawsuit is
literally important.
Specifically calling out banks and finance.
I mean,
this
is like the pinnacle of these. I mean, we got like six.
There's your winner, people.
6 kids
Game's
in Montana like did the same thing and no one cared. This is a big deal. So like, let's give it up.
It is a big deal, and not only that, but I know Matt hates this, but led by old women, 2,000 senior women, and
you just kept telling me how old they were. I don't care.
How about the fact that this just happened a few weeks ago? So maybe there's some recency bias here, but this is a late entry to the championship. There we go. That's the winner.
Honestly, this suit took 9 years. Like, it didn't happen a few weeks ago.
That's true.
Been 9 years they've been fighting it.
Some of them were probably dead.
That's the amazing part. In fact, the women have gone on the record and said, we will not benefit from this ruling. Like, we will be dead by the time these things happen. So
true.
Good for them being
I feel
dead
good about
and
this
winning.
winner. I feel good about this winner. All right, let's move on to the next part of our show. So we're going to do now that this horrible, long, belabored March Madness contest is over, we're going to introduce a new feature to our Tuesday lineup, which is lists. We're going to do top 5 lists, and here's how it's going to work. Each week, the three of us, we're each going to bring a list. We're going to go to our data set. This has to be from our data set, of course, from our platform, which gives Ari, the data queen, a bit of an advantage, but that's okay. We're each going to come with a top 5 list, and we're going to kind of compete over who has the best list, and we'll vote, and we'll have a winner. And here's how we'll get started, because we're not playing the contest this week, but I went in to give an example of some of the fun ways to play with this data, because a lot of the people that we have been talking to, they're impressed with the data set, understandably. But this is
understandably.
Look, this is an extremely novel set of data, never been introduced into our marketplace before. This is ESG 2.0, whatever you want to call it. And understandably, some people are just like, well, look, from from its appearance, it's wonderful, but how do we use it?
Yeah, right?
How do we talk about it?
Do we get to pick your best list?
You can talk about this, however. I'm only presenting one list to show how this is going to work.
Okay.
You can argue against me. You can explain some of the data points, but I just want to help our listeners and potential clients and current clients. I want this to be a feature because I think we should just keep talking about the effective use of some of our data.
I want it to be a feature because I want to name and shame people. It's
okay, here we go.
Fun.
Well, then you're going to be disappointed with my first list because I'm usually such a negative person that I actually started off with top performers, good performers.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. So Ari, please chime in. You are the data queen, and I know Matt already has things to say about these people that I picked. That he's not happy with how I did this.
Yeah,
but here's my methodology. So the way it works here at Free Flow Analytics is that we actually group all of our companies into 4 leagues based on market cap size. I personally focus a lot of my research on leagues 3 and 4, which are the companies with the largest market cap. Our show, The Proxy Countdown, almost exclusively focuses on these largest companies. This essentially, the equivalent here is basically the S&P 500, right? These are essentially the 500 biggest.
Almost perfectly overlaps.
And for this list, I focus on the League 4 companies, which is the 36 biggest companies. League 4 in the U.S.
Yeah,
US
I would say the data actually expands well. There's 9,500 companies or more in the database, so it's global. The data you can look at League 4 globally. But League 4 in the U.S. is a big enough sample to start.
So I'm looking at just League 4 in the U.S. That's 36 companies. That's 434 directors. And it already gets a little bit interesting. So 36% of these directors are women, right? Which is kind of in line with the standard that people are looking for, roughly between 30 and 40%. That kind of represents an international standard, unless you're in Asia, which the number's like 8%. I don't know what the kind of standard they want. I don't know what they're looking for there. But so 36% of the board is women, which is good. But in data that you can only get here, their power, their influence represents only 25% of total influence. So already you see a massive power gap here with female directors, right?
Well, that number is actually lower. That gap is smaller than when you look at the rest of the world. Like so what's interesting about that, so you have to understand the idea of influence first, which is like the culmination of how you got to this room, what's on your resume, who you are, do you have shares, are you the chair of the board, is every one of your friends in the room, are you family, like are you related to the long dead founder? Like we take into account probably 30 or 40 data points for every single director and use academic research and all this sorts of stuff to model how influential you are likely to be on this board, how much responsibility you're likely to have for the outcomes of the board. And when you do that, you can do things like, well, how much influence do women have versus men, or how much influence do CEOs have, ex-CEOs versus non-CEOs, or whatever.
Or like, if you're in the IT sector, how much influence do people with a skill set in IT have over the board? Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So when we do this globally, you can do the averages country by country or league by league or sector by sector. One of the things you find is the average power gap, influence gap between representation on the board, like the percentage of women that are in the room, versus the power that those women have, is actually roughly 10%. It's the gap is there are more women in the room than the power that those women have.
Yep.
So what you're showing, the average influence gap here is around 8%. It's actually a little bit...
No, 11%. 11%.
Oh, it's 11%? Oh, then it's good. It's slightly worse. It's very slightly worse.
Slightly worse. Great. Well, part of that, it probably is because the larger market cap companies, especially in the U.S., are the ones that have driven most of the changes in this area, right? They are actually the ones responsible for most of the diversity.
Can't get away with it as much.
Right, because there's the public eye is on them, so they push to add more women, but they're often adding some of the same women, and they're often, to Matt's point, might be adding women as a in a token. Well, as token representation. You know what,
it's not even about token, right? Because you get like a third of the board is women, it stops being token at some point. But let's say that you added women, you added a third of the board in the last couple of years, and you made them all women, just as hypothetical. If every one of the women who came to the board
never happened,
which never happened, but if every one of the women who joined the board was connected, were like best friends with the CEO, did you really? And they were given no shares. The maximum role that they had was like a member of the audit committee.
Right, and that's what I mean by token. Like they're putting them on the board, but they're not giving them actual
power.
leadership.
They don't have leadership. Right, exactly, they don't have responsibility. Exactly. What did you really do then? You just added the women.
All right, so that's the data set that I'm looking at, and I decided to be in a good mood today, and I wanted to look at the top performing directors across all of our performance indicators. I know Matt thinks that's too many things to talk about. I don't care.
It's gonna be a 3-hour
but I wanted to look.
Show.
I don't care. I want to talk about our data because Ari never lets me. So what I did,
Ari almost fell asleep talking a second ago.
I wanted to look at above average directors with the highest performance. So by above average, I meant that the average influence on these boards is 8.3% influence. So I wanted to look at directors who had an influence above that figure. So these are not token directors, male or female. These are actually directors who are above average when it comes to influence.
Sure.
So,
all right, who'd you find?
Let's start off with our overall performance indicator, which is maybe I should get to that one last. Let's start with earnings. We have 4 ways that we look at these directors: earnings, carbon, TSR, and controversy. Let's start with earnings.
Well, that's what's on the platform, because we have
that's what's on the platform.
30 other ways that we look at it. And there's multiple ways you can do performance. So what you're talking about is you can look at a director and you can say you were on 5 different boards over the last 7 years or whatever, and here's how those companies ranked on an indicator, earnings. Like here's how those companies performed on earnings. You can effectively create a batting average for every single director on how their companies performed. That is individual to that director because it's relative to their influence. So what you're talking about is earnings, carbon, TSR, and controversies. What are these directors' batting averages? How well do they perform against their director peers on these measures, on these particular measures?
So for earnings,
specific
this is why you're here. This is why I don't do the show solo, because first of all, everyone hates the sound of my voice, and second of all, I have analyst Matt Mascardi and the data queen. I don't
Sleepy
know
data queen.
Do you have a last name? I don't think you have a last name. Number 1 performer in earnings, Hawk Tan out of Broadcom, hitting now average is hitting 500. This guy's hitting 962. Hawk Tan.
So Hawk Tan is founder of Broadcom, I believe.
Hawk Tan represents. I wouldn't say so because
or is he CEO.
Hawk Tan has only 10% of board influence. CEO of Broadcom. Yep.
So the founder is on this board, and I believe Hawk Tan has been the CEO for a while. But Hawk Tan does not sit on other boards. So if I'm going to argue against you here, my argument would be...
I'm not here for an argument, but go ahead.
I'm telling you, you did it wrong.
I'm just pulling out the data. Yeah, tell me how I did this wrong.
Well, don't you want to know directors that have been on multiple boards, not just directors that is like the CEO of one company and that's like their performance?
That might be what you want to know. I'm just looking for the top performer. I don't care how many boards you're on. I just want to know who's the star in our universe when it comes to earnings. And it appears to be, according to our data available on the platform, Hawk Tan.
So what we're
Broadcom
saying is,
CEO.
while Hawk Tan has been at Broadcom as CEO, he's out-earned
amazing earnings.
Everybody in his sector.
How long has he been there?
I don't know
how many years this is.
But I
can tell you if you keep filibustering.
It's been several years, but the fact
2006.
is
2006.
Holy cow.
So he's got a great track record. Good for him.
This guy's a star.
Great superstar at one company.
I'm just
doing one thing.
What I'm suggesting here is I'm talking directly to Nelson Peltz. Instead of nominating yourself for the board of Disney, why about somebody like Hawk Tan?
Well, I mean, like this is like saying Wes Welker is a fantastic receiver. He had Tom Brady throwing to him.
Talking about.
He had Tom Brady throwing. You have you did one thing, and there's somebody else who who's the founder of the company who's on the board. Come on.
I do want to mention in a very close second is Thomas Fryman out of AbbVie at 961.
Not Tom Brady.
Yeah, no, and notably at number 4, Sandy Peterson. She's at Microsoft, hitting 955 at Microsoft. 14% board influence.
So when you say 955, you're saying that basically every board she's been on in the last 7-ish years.
We never talk about Sandy Peterson, so I'm actually excited to be talking about Sandy Peterson. 14% influence at Microsoft. That's massive.
She's been on multiple boards too, and every board that she's been on, basically they rank in like the 95th percentile of.
They did real well.
They're doing really well. She just
Nelson
jumps
Peltz. How
from
about
place
next
to
time?
place.
Not Jay Rasulo. How about
Sandy Peterson? She's available. Steal her from Microsoft.
Watch it be a man, Sandy.
No, it is. It is actually.
No, it's Sandy with an I. Sandy with an I.
Not a man.
Can't read.
Carbon. Let's go to Carbon. How about this one? May or may not surprise you. I think Matt already is going to have something to say about this. The average director in this subset of data hits 547 for Carbon, but we have a clear number one hitting 1,000. Perfect in Carbon. How can this be, Matt? His name is Art Levinson on the Apple board. You're not going to like that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So he's only.
Well, tell me, why is he hitting 1,000?
He's only ever
How
been
did
on
this
one
happen?
board, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Because this is
okay. Why is this bad? Tell me why this is bad.
You're not looking at
You're
not looking at the raw carbon.
Okay, tell me. Tell us more about this figure.
This is carbon intensity.
That's correct. That's one big reason, which is scope 1 and 2 emissions per million revenue.
And
so it's a ratio.
Apple's got a lot of revenue.
And Apple's got a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
And
that was a very sleepy sentence.
Everything. If you were here, Ari's eyes are basically glassed over.
Keep going. I want you to crap on Art Levinson.
He's been on one board. That one board has been one of the biggest revenue generating companies on earth. And you're comparing Art Levinson effectively against other IT companies that are massive. And Apple is a good performer on Carbon relative to that sphere. So Art Levinson, just all you're saying with him is Apple has done well on Carbon relative to large IT companies.
And that he's been there forever.
And he's been there for the entire time. That's all
and
you're
that
saying.
performance is attributed to his career. How about number 5, Michelle Hooper, United Health Group, hitting 944.
Well, Michelle Hooper's been on multiple boards, right? She's been on a few boards. And if you're batting 944, you're on multiple boards in the last 7 years on carbon intensity across different sectors. Now you're talking about somebody who might actually be good.
See?
She might actually be good.
Okay.
I mean, I have no idea, but I'm going to say
she
good.
She is good according to our carbon metric. She's great. She's hit number 5, hitting 944. Let's go over to the total shareholder return. Number 1, I like this one. Number 1 is someone from Costco, a man named Ron Vacris, hitting 966.
He's the CEO.
Costco.
He's Costco's CEO. Some guy. It's Gus.
Costco tends to outperform too.
Here's what I love about Costco, Ari, is that Costco has this kind of like folksy thing where they're like, we have like a 99-cent hot dog. I don't know what that means, but it seems like Warren Buffett would love that. And to Matt's point earlier in our pre-production meeting, Berkshire Hathaway actually is one of the major shareholders of Costco, right?
They love them.
Because Charlie Munger and who was the other woman?
Sue Decker.
Sue Decker, both from Berkshire, both on the Costco board. So
Munger not anymore so much. Yeah.
Yeah, Munger went away to a windowless coffin, I'm assuming. So I was right that Costco is kind of folksy. But what I love about the Costco board is that it is unbelievably democratic. Ron Vacris at the CEO has 13% influence. That's the top influence on this board. The lowest performing number for influence is at 4%. So basically, every director on the Costco board basically has a say in things.
I think it's just because they're filled with people that are big time players.
Yeah, it is a big player board.
Charlie Munger.
Okay, well, but that's a conversation I want to be a part of.
Right.
I want it because
that's
a rat-a-tat-tat about hot dog prices.
Well, the funny part is
he
was a part of it because we did a proxy countdown on Costco. We already did the show.
Yeah, I know. So do you have anything you want to? Do you want to? Okay. I want to get to the notable, the number 2. The number 2 is Jensen Huang's cousin, Lisa Su, out of Advanced Micro Devices.
Are they actually cousins? I didn't know that.
They're actually cousins. She's hitting 745.
First of all, the gap between 1 and 2 is super interesting.
Massive.
966 to 745.
That's our biggest gap in any of these categories.
That's bananas. It also suggests, actually, one of the things that's interesting when you rank these directors by TSR, batting average, you realize how the vast majority of the 80,000 plus active directors are just pure mediocrity. Like, they're not that great. Like, when you go from 966 to 745, and then quickly you're going down even further after that, right? Like, you're getting lower and lower and lower. You're just a ball of human mediocrity.
Of nothingness.
It's nothingness. Yeah.
Well, people are indifferent on multiple boards. Oops, I hear that.
You can go get that.
And look, this is why I chose this subset and why I chose to look at our performance indicators, because I just wanted to spend some time looking at the outliers, right? Because often there are some fun stories attached to the outliers.
I will say, though, that Ron Vakris on the board of Costco, he's only on the board of Costco. This is another one where, like, what you're seeing, though, is...
okay, we're seeing one board
the repeating
bias.
pattern is, like, if you only stay on one board, particularly if you're the CEO of that company, your performance obviously reflects whatever that company performance is, and it's possible to be really good. As soon as you start going board to board, which is why that's a more interesting metric to me, someone who's on multiple boards and they're doing well everywhere they go, they're basically proving over and over and over again that they're good at their job. That's
is it
hard.
a coincidence?
It's hard to be good at your job.
Is it a coincidence that the people who are on one board with good performance numbers are men, and the women who are doing well are on multiple boards? Is that a coincidence, or do you read anything into that?
I mean, the women tend to be overboarded.
Michelle Hooper, Sandy
Peterson, and recycled much more. Like, once you break in, so it's possible that's a piece of that. But it could just be possible that when women are held to a higher standard to begin with. So if they're doing well in one place, they are more likely to get picked up in another place. It's possible that's
probably not doing so great. And they're like, we need a woman
exactly
here.
Yeah, like the cleanup woman.
This is what I love about the data, is that there is this positive perspective on it, which is that it does let you highlight the successes of women like Sandy Peterson at Microsoft and Michelle Hooper at United Health, right? I mean, we tend to dwell on some of the underperformance, but there really is an opportunity here, say if you are an activist investor, to find people who actually do well other than just your hunches or the stories you heard at your golf game. Like, we actually have a way of actually indicating success. Finally, controversies category, where overall the directors in this subset are hitting 286. That's really low.
Yeah, controversies is highly correlated to size. So large companies tend to be more controversial because they get covered.
Except at places like Adobe, where Frank Calderoni, who has 15% of the board influence there, is hitting a perfect 1,000.
Wow,
Adobe
staying out of the news, Frankie.
Wow.
Yeah, Frank Macaroni.
Somebody cover them.
Another woman notably in this category performing well is Karen Seidman Becker at Home Depot, hitting 935.
Yeah, Home Depot's in the news, so that's interesting.
But
right?
I guess not bad news.
I guess it's not that bad.
Not controversial. Not the severity must not be.
Yeah.
High.
So to wrap up my list for today and get the hell out of here for this show for April 16th, I wanted to give you the leaders, the overall leaders in this for all of our categories combined, and that the number one performer, according to this data, at the largest cap companies in America is that same Frank Calderoni from Adobe, hitting 760 overall. Number two is back to Microsoft, although it's not Sandy Peterson. It's actually Carlos Rodriguez.
Really?
Hitting 756. And finally, at number 4 is Lisa Su's cousin, Jensen Huang at NVIDIA. He's hitting 700 overall across all of our indicators, which, if you look at, I'm sure that most of the shareholders at NVIDIA are already pretty goddamn happy with Jensen Huang. And all of our indicators would suggest that he
might be good at his job.
I don't know how this is meaningful, Matt, in the bigger picture, but our indicators suggest, and this is not just total shareholder return, that he is the 4th top performer are the biggest companies in the U.S. So that's an interesting correlation.
You know what I like about this list and this game?
Nothing. That it's over.
My favorite part is that he finished. No, I like that. The first two people you've never heard of.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact
Sheds
is,
light on.
like, you know who Jensen Huang is because NVIDIA is everywhere, because the AI movement. But the fact is...
And his sexy leather jackets.
You have no idea sometimes who these board members are. And if you've met them, great, then you know them. But if you're, like, shopping, somewhere, you couldn't name these people. And it turns out they might actually... There are people who are good at their jobs. It's always shocking to me that someone's good at their job.
Yeah, well, I think that's an important other point here is that we get a lot of pushback because a lot of people are afraid to vote out directors because they're worried that our data will offend the directors for some weird reason, even though shareholders are actually they're granted the authority to vote out directors if they're not happy with their performance. But this also gives you an opportunity to actually celebrate some of the top performers like we have today, including, as I said, like Sandy Peterson, that we don't talk about a lot, Matt. Michelle Hooper, Lisa Su, Karen Seidman Becker. Like, we don't spend enough time talking about them. So I'm glad that these lists can kind of...
I'm so happy you can celebrate something. I celebrate nothing.
I just want to be in a good mood today. That's all.
That's all we got. We're the ending on the fact that...
What did you have? You had nothing.
Yeah, I showed up.
What if it's all you've got? You brought nothing to this show. You brought a sleepy Ari. You brought your bad attitude arguing against everything I was trying to present.
We're celebrating the fact that the data that you just showed, those lists, those aren't lists that, like, they're not grades. They're not assessed. We literally are it's just measuring. It's like if I went and I said this room is 10 feet wide.
This is what's happened.
That is what that was. That wasn't like we think that person's good. That's what the data shows. It's not us making things up. So go get that.
And it's available for you on our platform,
all of the things you said,
freeflowanalytics.com.
freeflowanalytics.com. Sign up for free. It's just an email address. That's all you have to do. You might once in a while get an email from us. You just block us if you hate us.
And stay tuned to these shows because we're going to keep talking about more lists. We're going to talk about this data.
Of the worst.
We're going to tell you how to use this data, how to talk about this data, how to get comfortable with the data. We're going to do it.
That was Ari the Sleepy Queen. That's Damian Hazelnut Rollis. I am your analyst, Matt Mascari. We are Free Float. We'll be back on Thursday with a proxy countdown. I believe we are doing
Abbott Laboratories.
Abbott Labs.
You lie. You know. You don't believe.
The Chicago Mafia.
It's
one of the most fun companies to do. We're also going to do a show on Friday wrapping up the week. But until then, goodbye.